The narcissist will regret your absence forever. Have you ever been in a relationship where you gave everything, your time, energy, love, and even your very soul, only to realize that it was never enough for the person on the other end? And in the case of a narcissist, you may have given everything and more, only to have them discard you without a second thought. But here's something you need to know. While the narcissist may believe they are the one in control, the truth is, they will regret your absence forever. Their self-centered nature, their obsession with power and control, and their inability to maintain authentic connections will ultimately lead them to experience regret on a level they can't even comprehend. And by the time they realize what they've lost, it may be too late. In this video, we'll dive into the fascinating and painful reality of narcissistic relationships, exploring why the narcissist will ultimately regret losing someone like you, someone who saw beyond their false image, someone who could have been their emotional anchor. We'll take a deep look at the psychology behind narcissism and how it impacts their ability to connect with others. And as we discuss these topics, we'll also explore how the absence of someone who truly cared for them will cause long-term consequences that they may never fully recover from. But before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more videos on navigating narcissistic relationships, and share this video with anyone who needs to hear this message. We are all in this together, and your story is worth telling. Let's get started. Now that you're here, ready to dive into this powerful topic, let's really get into why the narcissist will regret your absence forever. If you've been involved with a narcissist, you might have felt like you were nothing more than an object to them, something they could use and discard at their whim, without a second thought. You gave them everything, your trust, your time, your love, and your care. You poured yourself into them, nurturing them, hoping they would recognize the depth of what you offered. But what did they do with all that? They didn't value it, they didn't nurture it, and eventually, when they felt they had no more use for you, they pushed you away or discarded you altogether. It's easy to think, in the moment, that they don't care, that they're happier without you, or that they've already moved on to someone else, someone they believe is better. But here's the truth. Narcissists are incapable of truly moving on, no matter how much they pretend to. Narcissists are deeply dependent on validation. Their entire sense of self-worth is built on a foundation of external admiration, attention, and praise. They cannot function without the constant reassurance that they are superior to others, that they are the center of attention, and that they are deserving of adoration. However, they know the harsh reality. No matter how much praise they receive, they will never truly feel fulfilled. Their sense of worth is hollow because it is entirely dependent on external sources. They cannot fill the emptiness within themselves with anything real or lasting. This is where you come in. You are the one who provided them with something real, something genuine, even if they never truly appreciated it at the time. You were a source of emotional depth, someone who genuinely cared for them, and you gave them the validation they craved. You were there when they needed someone to feed their ego, to prop up their fragile self-image. But despite all of this, they used you, abused you, and when they felt they had drained everything they could from you, they discarded you without hesitation. Yet, even though they may have thrown you away, your absence leaves a deep, unfillable hole in their life, and nothing or no one else can replace what you gave them. When you decide to walk away, the narcissist is left with a sense of loss that they will never openly admit to. On the surface, they might put on an act, showing indifference, trying to convince themselves that they don't care, that they're better off without you. They may even try to convince others around them that your departure means nothing to them. But deep down in the quiet corners of their mind, they know they've lost something irreplaceable. They know that no matter how much they try to fill the void you left behind, nothing will ever truly replace you. They may go out and try to find someone else to fill that gap, to give them the attention and admiration they crave, but it will never be the same. No one will ever love them the way you did. No one will ever see them the way you did. And no one will care about them with the same depth and emotional investment that you did. This realization, even though it's buried beneath layers of pride, ego, and denial, will eventually seep through. The pain of losing someone who truly saw them for who they were, who loved them for what they could offer, and who believed in their worth on a deeper level, is something the narcissist will carry with them, even if they never openly acknowledge it. The narcissist may tell themselves they don't need anyone like you. They may convince themselves that the next person will be just as good, if not better. But in their heart, they know that no one will ever come close to filling the unique role you played in their life. It's not about finding someone to fill the void with superficial attention. It's about the genuine connection you shared. Even if they refuse to admit it, even if they continue to seek out new sources of validation, they will never be able to recreate the specific bond that you once had. And that is a bitter truth they will struggle to accept for the rest of their lives. In time, the narcissist may seek out new relationships, new sources of validation, new people to manipulate and control. They may even briefly find someone who seems to meet their needs, someone who fills the immediate gap, but nothing will ever compare to the emotional depth and authenticity that you offered. The narcissist's inability to form truly deep, meaningful connections with others means that every relationship they enter will ultimately be shallow. They may wear a mask of happiness, pretending to move on and leave you behind, but the wound they carry from losing you will always be there, lurking in the background. Every new person they bring into their life will remind them, even if just subconsciously, of the loss they experienced. They will always be haunted by the fear that no one will ever love them the way you did, and that thought will linger, no matter how many others they try to replace you with. At the core of their regret is the realization that they are not truly capable of experiencing the love and connection they need to feel fulfilled. They may never be able to fully grasp the depth of what they lost, but there will always be a part of them that knows it. The narcissist is forever on a quest for validation, forever seeking something outside of themselves to fill the emptiness within. And when they lose someone who once gave them the validation they so desperately craved, they are left with a deep, painful emptiness that nothing else can fill. Their ego may never fully recover, and the scars of the past will follow them wherever they go. In the end, no matter how much they try to move on, the loss of someone who truly understood them, loved them, and validated them in ways no one else can, will leave an indelible mark on their soul. And that's when the deep regret starts to creep in. The narcissist, faced with the reality of losing someone who once played a pivotal role in their life, will begin to scramble. They will desperately try to manipulate, control, and guilt-trip others into stepping into the shoes you once filled. They might even try to recreate the dynamics of the relationship they had with you, but the truth is, it will never work. No one will ever be able to replicate the level of sacrifice, the kind of unconditional love, or the boundless patience that you offered them. You gave of yourself in a way that no one else can. You offered them emotional support, validation, and presence in a way that was unmatched, and they will never find that again. This is when the narcissist will start to truly comprehend the weight of their past actions, even though they'll never fully admit it. The regret will start to seep in, but it's not born of genuine love for you. It's because they realize the supply they relied on is now gone. The absence of your validation, attention, and emotional support will begin to eat at them. They will understand, albeit reluctantly, just how much they depended on you to feed their narcissistic needs. Your presence in their life acted as a constant source of fuel for their ego, and now that it's gone, they'll feel a growing emptiness that they cannot ignore. However, here's the most important truth to grasp in this situation. By the time the narcissist finally begins to realize the magnitude of what they've lost, it's usually far too late for them to do anything about it. The damage has already been done. They will have burned so many bridges, destroyed so many relationships, and alienated the very people who could have offered them support, comfort, or guidance. In their blind obsession with trying to control every aspect of their relationships, they have pushed away the one person who truly cared for them. You were the one who gave them something real, something genuine, and they failed to recognize it while they still had it. This is the bitter truth that underpins the narcissistic pattern of behavior. They don't realize the value of what they have until it's gone. And even then, after the realization sets in, they are often unable to fully process or admit it. They might feel a sense of loss or regret, but they won't be able to genuinely take responsibility for their actions. Instead, they may try to shift the blame, rationalize their behavior, or blame you for leaving them, never truly coming to terms with their own role in the destruction of the relationship. The narcissist's inability to recognize the importance of the people around them while they have them means that they will always be one step too late in realizing what they've lost. By the time they acknowledge the emptiness they feel, they will often have isolated themselves too thoroughly for anyone to be able to help them fill that void. Thank you so much for watching this video and exploring this painful yet empowering truth with me. If you've experienced the narcissist's discard, if you felt the sting of their absence, remember this: they will regret losing you forever. The narcissist's inability to form authentic connections will eventually catch up with them, and they will be left to live with the consequences of their actions. So, hold your head high. You are worth more than they ever realized, and your absence will weigh heavily on them long after you've gone. If you found this video helpful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Share it with others who may need to hear this message, and subscribe to the channel for more videos on healing from narcissistic abuse. Your journey to healing and self-empowerment is just beginning, and together, we can break free from the chains of narcissistic manipulation. Stay strong, stay true to yourself, and remember, you are more than enough. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
Don't be nice to narcissists, lest they bow down to you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Narcissist Exposed channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's as intriguing as it is important. Don't be nice to narcissists, lest they bow down to you. It's something we need to talk about because whether we realize it or not, many of us have crossed paths with a narcissist at some point in our lives, and the way we handle these encounters can make a big difference in our own mental health and well-being. Now, when we hear the term narcissist, we might picture someone who's just a little too in love with themselves, maybe a person who takes a lot of selfies or talks a lot about their achievements. But narcissism goes much deeper than that. It's a personality disorder characterized by a long-standing pattern of grandiosity, an overwhelming need for admiration, and, often, a lack of empathy for others. People with narcissistic tendencies often have a sense of entitlement, believing they deserve special treatment and admiration without necessarily having done anything to earn it. It's natural to want to be nice to people, to get along, and to avoid conflict. But when it comes to dealing with narcissists, playing nice can sometimes backfire. Let's dive into why that is. Narcissists and niceness, a dangerous combination. Being nice is generally a good thing. It makes social interactions smoother, helps build friendships, and fosters a sense of community. However, when it comes to narcissists, Your kindness can be mistaken for weakness.
Narcissists are often on the lookout for people they can manipulate to serve their own needs.
When you're nice to them, they may see it as an opportunity to exploit you rather than as an expression of goodwill. Narcissists thrive on attention and admiration. They have a knack for sensing who might be willing to give them what they want.
They're like hunters, always on the lookout for their next source of supply. And what better supply than a nice, accommodating person who's willing to go the extra mile to make others happy? When you're nice to a narcissist, they may start to expect special treatment from you.
They might demand more of your time, energy, and attention, all while giving little or nothing in return. They may use guilt or manipulation to keep you hooked, knowing that your kind nature makes you less likely to push back. Why niceness doesn't work with narcissists. One of the biggest challenges with narcissists is that they don't play by the same rules as everyone else.
Most people understand that relationships are about give and take, but narcissists are often focused solely on what they can get.
Your kindness won't be met with gratitude. It will be met with more demands. This is because narcissists often have an inflated sense of their own importance and feel entitled to special treatment. When you're consistently nice to a narcissist, you're reinforcing their belief that they deserve to be treated as special. This can lead to a sense of superiority on their part, making them even more difficult to deal with. They may start to see you as someone who exists solely to meet their needs.
And they won't hesitate to take advantage of you. Furthermore, niceness can sometimes be mistaken for submissiveness. Narcissists are often drawn to people who they believe they can control or dominate.
If they see you as someone who's overly accommodating, they may start to test the boundaries to see how far they can push you. They might begin with small requests or favors, but over time, these can escalate into bigger demands. And because you've been nice up to this point, you may find it difficult to say no.
Even when the demands become unreasonable.
The power of boundaries. So, what should you do when you find yourself dealing with a narcissist? The key is to set clear, firm boundaries.
Narcissists don't like boundaries because they limit their ability to manipulate and control others.
But boundaries are essential for protecting your own well-being.
Setting boundaries doesn't mean being rude or confrontational. It simply means being clear about what you're willing to accept and what you're not.
For example, if a narcissist tries to monopolize your time, you can let them know that you have other commitments and can't always be available at their beck and call. If they try to make unreasonable demands, you can calmly but firmly let them know that you're not able to meet those demands. It's important to stick to your boundaries even when the narcissist tries to push back, as they often will.
Narcissists are used to getting their way, and when they encounter resistance, they may try to guilt-trip you or make you feel bad for not accommodating them. They may accuse you of being selfish or uncaring. But remember, setting boundaries is not about being mean. It's about taking care of yourself.
Don't feed the ego.
Another important thing to keep in mind when dealing with narcissists is to avoid feeding their ego. Narcissists thrive on praise and admiration, so it's important not to give them more of it than is necessary. This doesn't mean you have to be rude or withholding. It just means being mindful of how much attention and praise you're giving them. If a narcissist constantly seeks compliments or validation, try to steer the conversation away from them.
Instead, focus on topics that don't center around their achievements or appearance.
You can also use neutral responses that acknowledge their statements without feeding into their need for admiration.
For example, if a narcissist boasts about a recent accomplishment, you can simply say, "That's interesting," rather than showering them with praise.
Self-care and support. Dealing with narcissists can be emotionally draining. So it's important to take care of yourself.
Make sure you're getting enough rest, eating well, and engaging in activities that bring you joy and relaxation.
Surround yourself with supportive people who understand what you're going through and can offer encouragement and advice.
Sometimes, it may be necessary to distance yourself from the narcissist, especially if the relationship is taking a toll on your mental health.
This can be difficult,
especially if the narcissist is a family member,
friend, or coworker, but your well-being must come first.
Remember, it's okay to put yourself first and protect your own mental health. Dealing with narcissists is never easy, and being nice to them can often do more harm than good. By setting boundaries, avoiding feeding their ego, and taking care of yourself, you can protect yourself from the negative effects of narcissistic behavior.
Remember, it's not your job to fix or change a narcissist. Your job is to take care of yourself and ensure that you're not being taken advantage of. Thanks so much for tuning in today.
If you found this discussion helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content.
And as always, take care of yourselves and each other. See you in the next video.